Welcome to Cannabis School. I'm your host, Jesse Angeles.
And I'm Brandon Elder.
And we're here to talk to you about everything pertaining to cannabis, from vape,
flower,
edibles,
strains,
and everything in between.
Oh, cool. You wait 3 seconds and exit the setting. Okay, cool. Now, fuck.
Speedy.
That's a lot.
Oh, you don't have to smoke it all.
Oh, no,
you definitely
I
don't
won't.
have to.
No, I definitely won't, but I'm just like, fuck, dude. I don't even take that. Not even close. Like, I thought I was taking big hits before, but now I feel better.
No, that's pretty close to what I usually put in. Sometimes slightly larger. So, what is it going to now?
It's 509.
Okay. Hey, that's kind of...
It's heated up. There you go.
It's going to be a great way to start. Slap in the face with some purple platinum garlic.
Dude, this shit's fucking...
Thanks to this bomb Cycloud.
Yeah, if you guys don't have it already, go down into the show notes. It was code Cannabis School.
Save yourself 10%.
10%. This is a really killer rig. We've been enjoying it today, and it is awesome.
It slaps really hard.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, purple platinum garlic does too.
Because there's no way I could touch that. All right. Yeah. Hey, so today we're going to be going a little bit more in depth into something that really triggers a lot of fear with other people and anger with others.
Well, it's that marijuana or weed or cannabis
is a gateway drug.
Yeah.
And being a gateway drug, that, being...
So what is a gateway drug?
Well, it just means a drug that you would... It's... Well, and this is the problem that I have with it. The gateway drug is the proposed idea is that if you use cannabis, it's just a gateway into harder substances, which is really ridiculous, because I love the way when I was going back and forth and trying to find information and get some good details from it. The funniest thing was, it's like, yeah, all of a sudden you smoke pot and then now you're like fucking stealing shit from your parents, pawning it to get heroin, and also like it's Grand Theft Pharma, and you're like raiding people's, like you're gonna eat all the pain pills,
right? Like it's gonna send you into this crazy stupor, and you're gonna spiral downhill, which is really interesting.
Because it was popularized during that time period, and that time period
even
it was
before, because back in 1972, during the Nixon era, they had the Schaefer report, where they went through and they actually did a bunch of studies specifically on marijuana. And their report that they brought to Nixon was, hey, this is not a gateway drug, and we should actually decriminalize it, because we found that all the claims that we've been putting out are false.
I don't think they talked about it being a gateway drug during that
in the Schaefer
time.
report. Yeah. Because it was the gateway drug theory that happened back with Nixon's era. Now, it was really pushed in Reagan's era with the DARE program and the Nancy Reagan. So in the Schaefer report, the whole point was to see if there was causation, because they were worried that it would cause to leading to stronger drugs. And so that was the whole point. And so the Schaefer report, when they brought it up, they actually recommended to Nixon, like, hey, there's a lot of false claims we've been stating, and we should actually decriminalize this, because these things that we're saying is actually false. And they were like, we're going to ignore that, and we're going to double down. And so they started Nixon's war on drugs. They brought in Nancy Reagan's DARE program. It became this whole, it just continued to trickle. And, it's been a very interesting thing, but there's not been any direct causation that we've seen.
Yeah. I didn't even pull that up.
Good.
Well, but you've been studying a lot of this.
It's not something new that I've learned. That was something I learned about years and years ago.
Well, and that's what I'm also like. I want to know more about it, because it just sounds so clear cut and dry, and it's like, okay, I want to know more. So that just makes me like, I'm going to dig more into that, because it's like, it usually when you hear something like this is the way it is, it's like it never really is that way. There's something behind it, whether it's someone's making money or someone just feels a certain way. Because like if you take James Barr, who was the Attorney General during the first Trump administration, and the one he had before that, and that guy was like hardcore against cannabis. So was Barr. so hardcore against cannabis.
Yeah.
And all I kept thinking was like, why?
Yeah.
And I knew the other guy because he was a crazy fucking like hardcore, let me show you I'm a Jesus freak, right?
Mm-hmm. Shove it in your face.
Yeah, big time.
Make sure you know.
Authoritarian, like, how dare you? I have, authority and power.
It's they are right. And
right.
That rightness comes with a air of authority and power because, I am correct.
It's a side effect of a cultural
societal thing.
It went from societal to cultural because then it became a part of their culture. Right, it was like Grandpa whenever you talk about black people, right? I mean, just like it was just like, but he was born in what the 1900s,
1910s,
1910s, and so I mean, of course his outlook is going to be different.
Yeah,
but it's a side effect, and it's really weird. The reason why I bring that up is because it's really weird that it's still in people's heads that this is bad. We got to get
a gateway drug.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because even all the discussions that we've had, like me and my dad over the years, I was helping him remodel an apartment, and a tenant was coming and looking at it or something. Or one of the tenants there at the apartments, we were talking, and they were saying something. I was like, oh yeah, well, that's why I smoke weed. And my dad's like, yeah, well, you don't have to be addicted to it, or like, and he went off on this thing about like, oh, well, that can lead to this. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. We've had these discussions. Like, why are you going back to this old rhetoric of like, oh, but it does that?
What do you mean? Like, you'll be addicted to cannabis, or you'll get addicted to?
No, like it can lead you to harder things, or all this other stuff. And I'm like, there was a study. It was the U.S. versus Netherlands studies, and they actually found that like people in the Netherlands, where they have a lot more liberal stance on drugs, harder drugs, everything like that, even cannabis, they found that Americans who had a much more tighter, restrictive legal thing around harder drugs, Americans were more likely to try harder drugs than people in the Netherlands.
Well, yeah.
And so it was like, okay, so it's not necessarily causation that like cannabis causes you to do this. They found that most of those things where it was like, hey, it's like societal or pressures of
causation is not correlation, and so it's all hearsay. It's not hearsay, but it's all case by case. Like, just because like Brandon smokes a shitload of it and he's like, this shit's not touching me anymore, and then all of a sudden come over and there's fucking little balloons everywhere, and I'm like, dude, this guy's doing black tar heroin off of a fucking spoon with some insulin needles, and I'm like, that's tragic, that's horrible, but that is not like, that is a big fear of an aging population. And even now, like you start to see like younger kids are like, I don't know, maybe this isn't for me. And I agree. I don't think that they should be touching it at a young age and using it consistently. Like, I know people who did lots and lots and lots. We talked to the doctor. I'm like, that's great, but she's not, that's the way that I think it should be looked at on both sides. It's an individual, but it is not the trend because how it affects us all differently.
Yeah, 100%. And every strain is different, and like every interaction is different. And the time of day of like, hey, what food's in your system? Have you worked? What's going on in your mind that day? Like, so many differences that you're like, hey, even this strain where normally it's set and setting.
Yeah.
Even
setting.
Dr. Riley Kirk had talked about it. Hey, when I try to strain that normally I'm very comfortable at home or with this, I went right before getting up on stage to go speak, and I used the same exact strain.
That's so funny. Yeah. Well,
and she felt super paranoid and had to go take a step back and and walk to go, hey, I need to get back to being okay, because normally this strain that I'm not displaced with, I am now displaced because my set and setting is different. And so even for a seasoned user, who I would say very seasoned user, she would be at that point, would have and as a doctor who teaches on cannabis, would have a very robust understanding of like how cannabis interacts with her body, like the set and setting experience, all of that. And so even her would think, but that's what she took a step away and went on a walk. Like, hey, I noticed that this is not giving me the same interaction because I'm not in the same place. So
Yeah.
it is really hard to have a specific studied test, because even like a lot of the tests that I've looked at now, they've been trying to get more conclusive data, because they're like, well, now we're testing siblings, we're testing twins, we're doing these types of tests to try and get more robust studies. But still, again, there's differences in endocannabinoid systems. You just might get closer with like the social economical things, the other influences of like family and religion and culture and society, like there, that you're like, okay, we're trying to negate as many differences as possible to make sure we have as many common grounds to go, hey, and they'll go, one twin didn't have this and one twin did, but we didn't notice any difference of like causation of leading towards like this type of thing.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, it is a gateway drug, though. I will admit that it is a gateway drug. It's a gateway drug to having better food. I am a far better cook now. I'm more every single meal that I prepare is very focused on the experience. My wife always makes fun of me because I judge my food so harshly. But if the chicken comes out slightly dry and I know it, I don't like it. And usually I'm using cannabis while I'm cooking. So I'm like, oh, I can taste things better.
I love it when I do, because I don't feel as rushed. I'm more patient. I'm like, okay, no, this needs this lower temperature. I need this to create this flavor. I need to do this, instead of like, I'm rushed, I'm stressed, I'm just going to do this. No, I'm, all this other shit's still going on, but like, maybe I'm not feeling quite as rushed. Maybe I'm more focused on it. Maybe I'm more aware of like everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, your dishes are better. I feel like as a person, like
Introspection.
More connected relationships with myself, with other people, because I've found more of me, which allows me to like connect better to others.
Yes and no. It depends on who you're around. I would say, like, where our interactions or similar people, we would have these great interactions. My first interactions around like more people in cannabis, the negative one was your friend Chad. He was very pushy. He really wanted you to do everything, higher doses. And I didn't like that at all. It's like, that's a negative.
The person, yes. 100%.
It's a negative. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're guided, no, I'm not trying to go, he's bad. I'm saying if you're guided by someone like that, you're not going to experience a very introspective way, because you are more focused on the experience of just being high and numb or euphoric, instead of, because it really is, it's an intent. When you have intent going, all right, what am I looking for right now? What do I need? Because if I'm seeking cannabis, and that's another reason why, like, I stopped carrying my vape pen, like, even when I go out, because I used to just take it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore, because we talked about that when we were gaming one night. We're just like, I feel like I just go. I'm not getting any higher. And so it's like, so it triggers this response. That's why I was like, in the last episode, I was talking about like, man, maybe you should be looking. If you're using a lot of a vape pen, that's usually a good sign that something's going on. And then that's a time to be introspective.
Yeah.
Maybe what you're smoking on is just amping you up. And you're like, fuck, maybe I needed something to kind of chill me out. And those introspective ones, those ones have helped me open up more to ideas and thoughts, and not trying necessarily like I was narrow-sighted, but I'm open to interpretation, but I'm also open that I don't have to agree with anybody.
No, but I would say you definitely, from my perspective, seem like you have a much broader perspective since you've introduced cannabis.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, the thing is like, a lot of people use substances these days because it's a weird fucking world. Well, it's constantly connected.
Everyone's medicated, whether it's a medicine of like pills or something else from their doctor.
Oh, no, I'm not just saying that. I know. But I mean, we see an uptick in that.
We're all using something to manage life.
Right. And
so most people, whether it's they're going to alcohol or they've got SSRIs or whatever it is, most people are using something, some sort of substance that's not themselves. No, but
what I'm saying is that it's been a increasing, like, crazy amount of,
I could say that,
of
percentage of people.
Oh, way more, because of how
especially in the United States, we have a really high.
The entire world is crazy right now on it, and it's. But the reason why is we're like inducing. It's like an induced schizophrenia. You have constant voices around you, nonstop, in your ear, on your screen, in front of you. Dude, back in the day, if you saw somebody talking to themselves on the street, you'd be like, "That poor guy is sick." Yep. Now he's having a conversation.
Oh yeah,
and he could be talking to himself. Who cares? We have just kind of like, yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, the only difference between the crazy person and the not crazy person is one person has a headphone in their ear.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Well, or even that. I mean, it's people are, and that's the thing too with cannabis is that it is a gateway drug to a lot of good things, but it also can be for bad things. You can abuse cannabis.
Yeah,
you can abuse a lifestyle.
Anything else, yeah.
Right. And so it's not a cure-all, it's a tool.
Are predispositioned like genetically or other things that it's like, hey, you're prone to seeking out something, whether it's cannabis, alcohol, some type of thing, escapism. Like there are some of us who are more prone to that than others, just genetically.
Yeah,
not that every single person is, but there are some who have higher tendencies and things that we just...
Yeah, I mean, you take alcoholism or babies born on heroin or meth, they're immediately addicted to that, right? Yeah. And it goes down the bloodline. Like I have serious alcoholism on my mom's side. And so that was, always a worry, but I never felt like I wanted to drink all the time. Ever. Not because of that. That didn't get me going, oh, no.
Yeah.
Right?
My family was always the same. They're like, oh, alcoholism runs in here because this grandpa did that. Someone did this. And I was like, okay, so don't drink. And then I found I really, really liked drinking for a bit. But I don't know if it was because I really liked drinking or if it was just...
The social aspect.
So sheltered. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is a whole new experience of something I've never had. And then it became a darker, depressive thing of well, now I'm just numbing. Yeah, I'm numbing life because life's really shitty. So now I'm drinking to numb that pain.
Right.
And that's more escapism of I'm trying to get away from life, so I need to drink. And now I actually I don't. Every once in a while, I have a craving for the flavor of an alcohol drink, but I don't really have a craving for the feeling.
No, I lost it all last time. Like I told you, my wife and I, our last anniversary.
Felt like shit afterwards.
Oh, dude, I hated it.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Oh, yeah. Well, Emily had done her 75 hard. She had 2 drinks during that entire time, basically when I chose to have a drink. And she was like, okay. And for her, that's crazy. And then at the end of her 75 hard, she had a drink. She was like, oh, I want to have a margarita just to celebrate. And she had 2. And she was like, that was the worst decision I've done. I feel so garbage. She was like, and is this why you don't drink? And I'm like, yeah, because I started feeling like crap every time. And it was like, why would I do this? I don't enjoy this.
It's like there's home cooked meals, there's fast food, and then there's street food in India. And that is drinking to me. Because it is so I might get the shits, I might throw up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not checking. I might have tapeworm. Who knows?
What's the Montezuma's revenge for India?
Dude, no.
Montezuma's revenge there, too?
Oh, no, dude. I mean, you just look in a lot of places within India. Not all of it. India is a massive place, but there are places in India where their water is mixing with their sewage.
Oh, yeah. There was a video. Maybe.
Remember I showed you that one?
Yeah, and he's literally bathing.
They're pouring raw
50,
sewage.
30 feet down the stream from him. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, right? But it's
so gross.
That's the way I treat drinking now because I remember when I was younger, but I remember because my body was experiencing these things for the first time and I was around other people. And again, it's always set and setting. I typically had good experiences drinking. I would hang out. We would do silly things. We would have fun, play practical jokes because we're just acting like kids. And then the other part is getting in fights and stuff like that. And I still see that as a positive thing because I didn't mind. I liked that rush. But it is now I just don't see it the same way. Like, I mean, try to convince me to do something bad on cannabis. Let's go fuck up somebody's car.
It's like,
let's go get in a fight. Like, no.
And the thing is, I'm like, you're way more likely to think about it and overthink about it instead of go, yeah, no, that sounds like a smart idea. Let's go do it.
Well, and another thing it's a gateway drug for, too, is opening up to new music, opening up to new genres of fiction, whether it be movies or books
Stories,
or games.
ideas.
Like, I play more games that I never would have thought I would play. I was like shooting everything, right? And and I was I still am. I'm really good at those games, but I like role-playing games now. I like depth. I like story. I like to be frustrated. I like challenge, and I like to go deeper in that. And then I like to read fictions that I would normally. I gave up fiction for a really long time.
Same.
I just didn't enjoy it because I thought I needed to constantly fill my brain, but sometimes it's great to be able to.
20 years I gave up fiction.
Yeah, yeah, about that too.
That's nuts. Because I read so much growing up, and then as soon as I graduated high school, I was like, I'm done. I don't
want to read.
I don't want to read. And then after that, I got back into business books and like other books and history books and stuff, and it was really hard to get into fiction. I don't know what it was.
No, it's hard because your tastes change, man. It's the same with alcohol. Like, am I shitting on alcohol? No. Like, if that's your jam, cool, dude. It's straight poison. I mean, if shit will take off paint and clean you,
I know.
Now I'm like, I think of it that way. I'm like, fuck, I don't know why I do it, but sometimes it helps. You know, it's been great for like when people have, like, dude, there are so many old school Mormons around here that still have whiskey in their medicine cabinet.
Really?
Yeah, they'll take like my wife's grandmother. Every time she had a cough, Grandpa, dedicated Mormon, like crazy about it, right? He would get her like a couple
dedicated Mormon.
Yeah, dude, like he's a robot, dude. Like that's
they are.
all he's like. He's just like,
the
I
super
have to.
pious are incredibly robotic.
But they're just so afraid that somebody will see the dents in their armor. Like, you know, I love my wife's grandfather, but you know the way he talks about it, he's going to take care of the whole world. He gives all this money to all these Laotian people and these Thai people and Vietnamese people in the ward. And yeah, he wouldn't help out his own kids.
Yeah.
He wouldn't help out his own kids when they were struggling. He had tons of money, and he's giving it to these communities. I was like, I would give him shit. And I'm like, hey, they're going to build you a golden statue out there in Thailand?
I thought it was funny. It was like the year that really struggled, lost my job, was dealing with court stuff with the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything all at once. And I was still helping my dad when he needed help. And he paid me hardly anything. At the end of the year, he was bragging about how much he gave to the church because he wasn't able to do tithing, so he just gave it at the end of the year because the bishop came around going, hey, it's Christmas time. We could use a donation. Would you help some families? And so my dad was like, well, I wasn't able to give tithing, so I just paid it all at once in a massive lump sum. And I was like, here. And look at what I did. And I'm like, cool. I bet that made you feel so good, didn't it? Like...
That's so funny, dude.
But it's the very pious, like, oh, Jesus is going to look at me and go, hey, you gave so much money. I'm so proud of you.
Isn't that funny, too?
I'm so proud of you.
And that's another thing, too, like a gateway drug to being able to kind of explore your faith. If you have faith, whatever it may be, it's one thing that I've really enjoyed about cannabis is that it has brought me closer to my God, to
what
that
your
one.
Connection and belief is.
Yeah. And then I'll leave it at that because
whatever that looks like. Yeah.
And some of you may be going through that, you know, but the other thing that's been really cool is the type of people that I would talk to. Cannabis consumers are all walks of life.
Yeah. And I, unfortunately, because where I grew up, how I was raised, I just had this different view of different people.
Oh, no, dude. And the big reason why was because stoners look like stoners.
Oh, yeah. Or even bikers or people with like tattoos or piercings and stuff. I was raised as like, oh, they're bad people. Like, look out. And I'm like, and then I rode motorcycles and hung out with bikers and got tattoos. And I realized all these people are just people. And some of them are way better than the incredibly pious people that I saw who were so well presented and dressed and so eloquent and all of this.
Educated.
And yet, yes. And then I go and I see this biker or this other person. I'm like, they have the most honest, loving heart. They are the most real person. And they would do anything for me or anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Not just, hey, is God watching? Is my neighbor watching? Like, I should show up like this. And I'm like, that's what I loved, is I realized I didn't have to fear people so much. I learned to love the diversity, all the difference of people, and go, holy shit, like, you're so unique on your own. You're so fucking different than me. That's amazing. I wish that I could be more unique like you, because I feel like I'm so much of all these other same people.
But it's awesome too, because it was a blank canvas at that point where you could go and explore. And that's the one thing that I think is so cool about cannabis people. Like, dude, how many people I've met in business, regular life, in my church, around other people, like randomly, like that
dude sitting on the side of the road where we smoked a bowl with, and it was like, oh,
or that woman out there that we're going to have on our podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, her life is completely changed with cannabis, and it's so cool to watch and see. And it's like, dude, she would be the quintessential of, scary. But, when you're at a place in your life where you're just like, well, what could I fucking do?
That's what really, I think that's what for me stemmed why this show really exists, was like, because Grandma, when I started making her edibles and I saw her go from having to be, she was on fentanyl, and she went from that to not having chronic migraines, not to use any of that. And she weaned herself off cannabis too, because she was like, I don't need this eventually. But that change in her mindset, in her quality of life, and then I've not met this lady yet, but you've told me the experiences, and it feels so incredible to just go, hey, I saw that person's life got better. And it was just something stupid and simple, and all I had to do was talk to them and care enough about them to go, hey, I see that you're struggling, you're hurting this, and maybe this helps, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I see that you're really having this hard time, and this might be something that's worth trying.
Well, and that's the thing, man. I wanted to kind of wrap it up with this is a gateway drug into introspection, if you want it to be. It's a gateway drug to less pain. I'm not going to say it's going to take away all your pain. Some people, it works great.
I still have pain, but it'll take away a good portion of it.
Yeah.
So I can function like a normal person, or like that lady who can move and do shit that she wasn't able to do.
No, I mean, she was on oxygen.
So
it still is, but
be a gateway to a better life if you utilize it as a tool. And you're using it in, proper dosing, proper methods, not trying to go crazy high and see if you can fly to the moon, because you can still experience euphoria and all of those fun things if that's what you're looking for without going overboard.
Yeah, and, for those parents or grandparents, because I know there's a lot of amazing grandparents that listen to this podcast as well. Hey, if you find that your kid or your grandkid is using cannabis, don't come down on them punitively. You're teaching them that this is bad. So just saying, hey, what's going on? Are you having difficulty right now? Is this helping you? Instead of going you're not supposed to do it because the law says, yeah, I understand that. But if that was the truth, then you wouldn't be giving your kids NyQuil and shit back in the day because it was alcohol in it and not some other random. They just put Benadryl in it now. Lame. NyQuil used to be awesome. Anyways, but, bring back NyQuil.
But coke and cocaine.
Oh, dude, that reminds me of. Anyway, I'm not gonna go off a tangent, but no, it's a gateway drug into something different than where you're at right now, and allow those who are coming up. You got to teach them about this. I would really encourage you to share. If you are keeping this from your family members, if they're crazy zealots, don't.
It might not be the discussion.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. You already know the outcome. But if you've got people around you that love you, respect you, and they want to see you happy, explain it to them. Explain it that this, not why you're using it. Start talking about the positive things of reasons why you've looked into it, where you've come up to, and then you've made a decision. That's it. You're not asking for permission. And often it kind of feels like that when you need to go, hey, I got to tell you something. Like my sister texting me in the middle of it.
Like, it does kind of feel like permission when you're trying to hide it from your parents or something. Yeah. Like, even as an adult, it took me so long to open up to my parents. Granted, it wasn't legal, even in the state at that point. It was just like, hey, this has helped here. Like, even your church is okay with it in medical use. Like, look at all these states that they have this.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And it was just like trying to put it in a perspective of helping them actually understand it. And it took years before. And then it was like, okay, hey, you probably have already known, but I've had cannabis in my system every single time you've seen me for 3-4 years now. Every time you would have seen me, I would be what you would classify as high. And yet, you wouldn't notice any difference because you had no idea until I tell you.
Dude, my dad, I remember one time I brought a bag from your place to mine, and I didn't have like a smell proof. And so it was like in the middle console thinking, oh, I'm not going to smell anything.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Yeah, that was really bad.
Smell.
It fucking smelled awful.
Unless it's like really shitty smell.
But it was really good smelling weed, so I was like, this shit smells good. I picked up my dad later on. The smell was still in my car, and my dad gets in the car, and he goes, why do I smell marijuana, Jesse? And I said, because there was marijuana in my car, Dad. And they just stared at him, and he goes, you really shouldn't be doing that while you're driving. You really shouldn't be telling people what to do, Dad. Just go.
It's
It's funny, but it's just like, I don't care. Like, you know what I told my mom? I'm like, hey, I'm smoking cannabis. My mom goes, same. I mean,
oh, man.
What do you want, right?
See, that would be great. I would love to, maybe one day.
No, my dad
parents.
did. My dad used cannabis later on.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he was totally...
Well, you helped him navigate a lot of stuff, and I think that was amazing.
Yeah, he's
not currently consuming, though, right?
No, he doesn't currently consume, but for a while, when he was struggling with alcoholism, and there was a lot of depression, like, I was like, you've been drinking that long, but it was the amount every day.
Oh, yeah.
Retired.
That's what gets you.
COVID.
Yeah.
In his house, alone.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Well,
that's what mine was, because I was divorced. Half the time my kids weren't home.
Yeah.
So it was me, alone, at home, and it was like...
I don't want to feel like shit.
No. And so my light nights were like 6 to 8 beers. And, and then it got to like, oh, cool. I could drink a 12-pack and be just fine.
Jeez.
There was a night that... Jeez. And I've always been small. So it was like I had 13 beers.
Shit just run through you.
Like three shots of something and something else. And I was still just fine. Like, I wasn't shit-faced, but granted, it was over a decent amount of time. But, like, it was a problem.
Yeah, a problem. Definitely a problem. And that's...
I metabolized so fast, too. So it was like I could drink
forever,
a lot.
Because it would just go right through you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. And it's the same with, like, cannabis with you, unfortunately. Because it's because of... keep doing that. Because you metabolize it so quickly. So it's, it's good to know a lot of different things before you start getting into cannabis. But at the same time, is this a gateway drug? Yeah, totally. It's a 100% gateway drug. You just need to make a decision on how that's good, what gateway it's going to take you down.
Yeah.
The one thing that I was going through is that it is the vehicle, but it is not the destination. So it's just a tool. It's not a cure-all. It's not going to fix you. But if you allow it to, like a lot of people that we know ourselves, when you allow this to act as like a reflection tool to help you navigate life better in a way.
Then you grow.
Yeah. But it's a vehicle. It just depends on where you want to go.
Yeah. Well, and you might find in times that evaluating your relationship with cannabis, there's times where your vehicle is parked up on the mountainside watching the sunset for a while because life's really fucking stressful. And other times that vehicle might be on the highway, going in a really good direction because you're hyper-focused and, your vehicle might have all sorts of different trips that you take in life.
But it just, what's great about it and being a tool is that cannabis can just kind of tweak things just for you to be able to fix everything. But
use it as a gateway to tune in next week.
Yeah.
So.
And make sure to go check out Cannabis School.
And check out the Bomb
Yeah.
SciCloud, because
go into the...
That thing's fantastic.
That thing is cool. This is awesome. All right, guys. Take care.